Hello, and welcome back to another VOD review. My name is Scorch24, and today we're going to be looking at some Mercy play at Silver. We have our guest here, Platinum Wolf, sent in a VOD for review, playing Mercy on Lijiang Tower. So we're going to take some pointers here. Now, it is Silver play, so we're going to actually focus a lot on kind of Mercy mechanics. We're going to focus on um, when to use her reses, who to prioritize healing for, and maybe teach some small Mercy techs. So without any further ado, let's get going.
Select your hero.
I'll be watching over you.
Okay. So I'm not going to worry too much about team comp in this game. I think at this level, it's a lot of individual play, seeing as we're like low silver, high bronze. But we have a Sigma, we have a Hammond, we have a Junkrat, Lucio, and Reaper.
Round one. Capture the objective.
Right beside you.
So as Mercy, as you're rolling out here, you kind of want to stay with a majority of your team. Now, looks like most of them move over to the point here. Um, and you are trying to get over to your Lucio, but that's probably a bad engage right there. Okay, so let's just even take a look there and see what we could have done better. So for our Lucio, it looks like they don't want to play with the team immediately. They're probably going to try for like boops or like sneaky things. So really don't worry too much about the Lucio. Instead, you kind of want to surround your tanks and your DPS. So your tanks go back forward. So probably should have gone back towards the front side there. But you have your two DPS here, and since they have a smaller health pool, it kind of is a better idea to stay on them for a little bit. Your tanks can at least fall back and maybe come back to you. Now, you're here. You don't have any reason to be afraid of being booped off the map if they have a character that can boop you that far, because you do have your Guardian Angel. So long as you hold this doorway here, you'll be able to peek in, get some healing onto your teammates as they need it, and basically don't make yourself a target by the enemy team that's now starting to come to point. So Diva dives the Lucio. Your Reaper's gonna go take care of them. No problem. You still have your Junkrat here to protect you, so you should have stayed here. You see the Orisa makes her way to point. If you wanted to, you could try and look to your left, see how your tanks are doing, because you don't know what they are doing right now. You haven't seen them in a couple seconds. If they are over there and are trying to get to you, you could probably go to them. But it's hard to tell from this angle. Okay, so this was probably the bad engagement. If you are going to go this way, you need to commit all the way. Fly out and go further away from the point, because now you have the entire enemy team behind you. But instead, you kind of go back in and that gets you killed. So it looks like the enemy team has Moira, Symmetra, Orisa, Diva. I haven't seen anyone else yet, so I'm gonna guess they have a Hammond. No, they have Diva, Orisa. They might have a Lucio. Hey, but your team holds it pretty well, and great job getting onto your healing onto Reaper. So primarily when it comes to target prioritization for healers, you want to target anyone with a critical symbol on them. And when I say a critical symbol, if multiple people have critical symbols, you kind of want to focus your other healer to make sure that they stay up to heal other people. So it's not just you who has to do the healing. Then you want to focus your DPS because they have the smallest health pool, and then your tanks because they have the most health. So you should have ran away from that. Use your Guardian Angel to get out. I want to rewind that just to show you. So you see the Reaper there, you've made eye contact. Your Sigma is getting low on health. Your Reaper's to the right there. So there's a moment here where you could have turned towards your Reaper, Guardian Angel towards him, and now you're safe in this corner instead of right next to this window. So you wanted to turn to him, use your left shift, fly over there, and now you can still heal your team who's at this doorway. You'll see your Reaper, and I think your Sigma went to your left here. But unfortunately, positioning was not on our side here, and we end up dying. Yeah, never use your res when you're that close to an enemy. But your team does a really good job with holding point.
Starting over from the beginning.
Okay, so your Hammond did just use his ult. You're coming up onto your ult. Your Sigma should have his ult soon. And Lucio's gonna have his ult. So one of the things that you can be doing right now is just telling your Lucio, hey, when do you think you're gonna use your ultimate? So that way you don't overlap your ultimates. Okay, so your Lucio just used his ultimate. You have a lot of barrier. You can go in for a res, but that Reaper's a little too close. Again, positioning was not on your side there. So what could be done better? So our Reaper just died. Now, what you could do is, and this is a high level IQ play, wait for this Reaper to push in on your team. He's going in for an ult, and whether or not you knew that ahead of time, he's going to try to target you. That's his goal. What you could do, wait for him to get up into this point around your team. Then Guardian Angel over to your Fallen Reaper and res him while this Reaper is either ulting or turning around to go get you. That gives your team time to like actually target him as well. But okay. Junkrat's gonna die, so don't worry about him. Your Lucio's gonna beat. So maybe just get healing onto him or one of your tanks here. Yep, great job. Okay, so now you could have Guardian Angel back to the right here and gone for the res instead of here because the Reaper is still looking this way. If you didn't feel comfortable with either of those situations, move to your left and go back towards your spawn, this doorway here, because then you'll provide cover for yourself and your team has a way to like back out safely and like maybe try to make a play.
Reaper, tell me when you're gonna use your ult, because then I'll use mine.
Good job getting healing on your Lucio there. He's probably gonna die though. Yep, damage boost to your Reaper here. Great idea. You wanna, oh, great ult by your Junkrat. Yep, hide behind this wall here. Great job. Go for this res. Amazing. All the right things right here. Get healing on your Sigma. Yeah. Didn't have to use your ultimate there. You may have realized that mistake after, seeing as there's no enemies around. Instead, you could have allowed, like, maybe your Lucio to get more of his ultimate by healing. Otherwise, just heal up your team normally and save your ult for the next fight. Because we're coming up at 85%, and when you see 85% in any of these capture maps, that usually means there's only enough time for one more fight. Really good positioning there and repositioning. Staying behind cover, that was really smart.
Best round.
And just like that, you're able to control point. So as Mercy, a lot of your worth is coming from playing around corners, making it very difficult for you to be in sight of the enemy, and just being a difficult target to hit in general. She has a small hitbox already, which helps, but if you position poorly, you can be killed very quickly. So we have a swap over to the Reinhardt. We still have Hammond, Junkrat, Reaper, and Lucio and Mercy.
Capture the objective.
You needed a doctor?
Okay, so there's Symmetra turrets on point.
Let's get you back out there.
Okay, so your Junkrat's dead there, and I heard that Doomfist coming in. I don't really know if there was anything you could have done too much better in this case. It was a very scrappy engagement entirely. So I won't really take time to go back and look at that. Keep your eye on that window when you're coming back as Mercy, because sometimes you are going to be able to use your Guardian Angel to get inside. And it'll save you some time than going around. Great job getting onto your Junkrat. Really good spatial awareness there. Yeah, and perfect, yeah. Despite being that pulled, I saw like you trying to push back, and that was a smart move to do.
Let me get you patched.
So one thing that I'm noticing that you aren't doing too much is damage boosting. And hopefully at this next fight we can talk a little bit about when to use your damage boost versus just healing. So during this like poke phase when the enemy team is regrouping and coming back from spawn, you can be on your Junkrat right now and giving damage boost to him. A little overextension there, but you made it out, so that's good. You might be able to go for the res. You could ult here and go for the res. Oh, especially now, I would have ulted. Unfortunately, your Reinhardt died. Your ultimate probably could have saved him if you had activated it sooner.
Mercy, can I get some heals? I'm right behind you.
Yep, good response. And at this point, they're just committing a lot of stuff to this fight. So you're just stalling for time. Great res. Great res. That was really smart. And good use of your ultimate there. A little bit of an overcommitment on your Junkrat's part, but it does get the job done. Okay. And you're damage boosting, so that's a good idea. Good job. So yeah, whenever your team is kind of at... Hold on, I want to go back. So you get the res on the Junkrat. Your team is pretty much full health. Okay, so your Lucio just needs to be topped off. As soon as your Lucio's topped off, go ahead and just start damage boosting. As soon as that critical symbol's off of him, damage boost, because you're going to clean up this fight a lot faster. And if your Junkrat didn't use his ult, the enemy team would be like engaging in on a lot of damage. And so they're either going to die to that, or you can just swap back over to your healing if your team starts to get low. So it was like a perfect ult. Yeah, D.Va's a little critical there, but swap over to damage as soon as you see the critical go away. Your Lucio can take up some healing to get his ult back. So everyone's topped off already. Go ahead and start damage boosting, like the Junkrat or the Reaper. You're a little far away from your team. I think you're gonna get caught out here. Yep. Okay. So that is a really important engagement because you're at 99% and you kind of just won the last fight pretty convincingly. So if your team had just played a little closer together, or you had played with your team a little bit more closely, this last engagement would have been a lot cleaner and you probably would have won immediately. So let's take a look back. Let's do here. Okay, so actually I want a little bit more. So we end this fight. Symmetra dies. The Moira's there, but no one's really keeping an eye on her. I think the Junkrat and Reaper are going after her, so you want to follow them and damage boost them while as you do so. She's able to juke them out, and now it's just you and Lucio on point. There's no reason for you to be on point right now, because they don't even have any capture percentage. And even if they are managed to flip this over to them, they have to get all the way up to 99%. And if you can just keep your team alive to come back and take care of like the one or two people that are on point after killing everyone else, you'll flip the point and win immediately. So you should go over this way to the rest of your team. You just had some your Junkrat die. You might be able to get a res off on this if you play these corners properly. But they just use both of their ultimates and you died. Okay, So I think you just got the Sigma from the Rhine. Heal up your Hammond. Good damage boost onto the Reaper there, though. Okay, you got the healing. Okay. I'm going to teach you a tech there on how to fly up in the air to avoid some of that damage that's coming at you. So you want to be damage boosting here. Everybody's already filled up all the way. Go ahead and damage boost. Or pull out your own gun. That is perfectly acceptable as well. You're separated. Okay, your Lucio had a great ult there. Damage boost, because people are healed up already. You're not doing anything right now. And the tech I'm going to teach you in a little bit is going to help you get better elevation when no one on your team is in the air. Good res onto him. You wanted to back up. Okay, hold on. Before we go any further. When you go for these reses, especially around this point,
Res me?
wait for it. Okay. I'm okay with this res. Don't move closer. Stay as close to any wall that you can, because you open up line of sight all around you. Okay. And right here. Instead of backing up this way, go around this corner to your left. Because you can like poke around the corner and have your beam hold on to the target. Your beam breaks after I think 1 second being out of line of sight. So you can poke around this corner a little bit, try to reduce the damage that the Winston's doing to you. Maybe regroup with your Lucio. But in most other cases, that will really help you out here. I think the Winston could still pretty much kill you if you stayed behind here too long. But definitely just don't back out into more open space. Yeah, and there's sim turrets all over point that your team can't take care of just because of the heroes that you're playing. I want to point this out as a mercy. When you're moving from position to position, especially if they have a line of sight onto you, luckily they're not playing Widow, which if they were in this case, or if they were playing any other hit scan, you walking from this rock to behind this wall would probably get you killed, like the way that you did. Instead, what you should do, wait for your teammate to cross into the room, then use your guardian angel to speed over and get into the room a little bit quicker. And it's just a safer route entirely. So keep that in mind when you're moving from cover like this. Same spot here. Luckily there's a rock here, but if there was anyone looking down on this side catwalk, wait till your Winston's here, or if he jumps over, to use your guardian angel to join him. You could have joined your Lucio there. There's really no reason for you to be with your Winston right now. He's not playing with the team, and the rest of your team is all regrouping on bridge. So if you follow your Lucio, your teammates are coming up behind on this bridge, and you can probably use your ultimate to help them engage on this fight. Okay, your Sigma's here too, so it's not a terrible idea. Use your ultimate. Okay, so when you ult as Mercy, that was probably not the best res, just because you hadn't cleared out other issues. When you ult as Mercy, oh, that was a really good play by your Reaper. You just use your res, or try to. Kill your Reaper. Sorry, I keep trying to make it the same point, but it's just not working. When you come onto a point like this as Mercy, and you're going to use your ultimate, pull out your pistol and kill the turrets that are around. That'll just make sure you're not taking unnecessary damage, and your team isn't taking unnecessary damage. Sorry for my silence, I'm just trying to figure out things that we can do better. Okay. We're going to take this fight very slowly. Okay. Okay, so you have the Winston come in. You need to damage boost your Reaper here because Reaper will shred Winston almost instantly. Now he does ult here, but Winston is still killable with a damage boosted Reaper. Okay, we see the Moira come onto point. So if you can, you should call out that the Moira needs to die first. She'll get some healing onto Winston, which will boost her ultimate generation, and she'll probably get it for this next fight. But if you could kill her sooner than focusing on the Winston, you're going to set yourself up as the rest of the enemy team begins to trickle onto point. So your team is pretty healthy. Just go ahead and damage boost the Reaper. Okay, so good job going to help your Winston. He did get caught out of position there for a moment. You see that the Doomfist is going to ult here. You want to just basically assume when a Doomfist ults, or almost any DPS uses their ult on the enemy team, that they're going to come after you. So you need to start thinking about where you need to position yourself. If you go over to your left side here, you're going to be able to get some healing on your team. But it kind of looks like they're playing on the right side. So what you can do is move over to the left side here and play like a cat and mouse game around this corner. The Doofus has to decide where he's going to place his ult. The smartest place is going to be in the middle. As soon as you see the red circle appear on the ground, you need to use your Guardian Angel to move to the right side, not the left, because the left side is where the enemy's coming from. So you're going to look over to your right side. Now, if for whatever reason you don't have anyone on the right side, then yeah, you're going to have to make the risk and go to the left and try to like just dance around the enemy team and get to safety. But your ultimate goal is to end up on the right side. Okay, so the Doomfist ulted behind you, and now because of your positioning, because he was going after you, so you saw how that kind of followed you. You're now caught between a Symmetra and a Doomfist, and now your enemy team, or your team, has basically swapped positions with you. You were on that side, and now they're on that side, and you're left alone here. You have someone popped up in the air, and I think this is your Junkrat. I think you could use them as a way to escape by using your Guardian Angel. And you can get some healing onto them as well, seeing as they're caught in a laser. Oh, it was your Reaper. But he's stuck here. You have a laser there, you have a laser there, and you're basically just running around the point in the worst spots. If you went counterclockwise, it might have been a little bit better. But I think you were kind of just confused on what was going on. And we're just going with whatever could get you out the quickest. Okay, you luckily do not die there. But you're bopped up into the air, which gives you really good aerial view of what's going on. You're going to get your healing out. Great job. Okay, now you have Doomfist and Symmetra to your left here. You should Guardian Angel back to this side of point and hide around that wall like we said to do before. And I think that was because your left shift is programmed in the options to follow the character it has to beam on. I play that way mainly because I like to trick, um, DPS players on where I'm going to be using my Guardian Angel. But at low ranks, I probably would recommend swapping it to the other setting where whichever character you're looking at, if you press left shift, you'll go to them no matter who your beam is locked onto. So just play with those settings, which one works best for your playstyle. Just remember that you need to let go of your healing before making that Guardian Angel decision. And that does catch you off. Yeah. So unfortunately, last point there. It was super doable. It was during that transition phase that you kind of just let the enemy team pile onto point, and there just was no target prioritization by your DPS. It's okay. Um, but if you had just damage boosted a little bit more, maybe that could have been fixed. All right, so we're on our last point here. Looks like we're keeping the same comp. We do have a Zarya now. I'm not a fan. Your team's not going to have any shields, so you're going to really have to play for cover right now.
Capture the objective.
You needed a doctor?
So damage boosting here. Great job on the healing. You have a Doomfist behind you. And that's just a lack of spatial awareness, you know, auditory cues. If you hear a Doomfist winding up, either do a quick glance around or just assume that you need to reposition and Guardian Angel away. A little bit of bad positioning there. Yep, heal your Lucio and then your DPS. Really caught out here. I'm a little too forward right now just because you have no tanks in front of you. You could go for this res. But yeah, make sure your team is healed up a bit. Yeah, you should have gone back for that res a lot sooner. Use your group up keys. Yeah. So let's do here. So you can, I'm fine with you going up like that, but don't go past this pillar, especially when you have no one else in front of you. You know that your two teammates are going to be falling back right now. So don't go past this pillar, hide behind it, let your Junkrat pass and get some healing onto him, and then use your Lucio to speed out. So yeah, you took over 100 points of damage just by that bad positioning. So good healing onto your Reaper, good healing onto Lucio. There's no need to engage right now because you're still down your Zarya. So right now, you really shouldn't be trying to engage. You shouldn't try to be healing. If people are playing out of position, try to get them to group back up with you. Otherwise, you're just going to keep feeding and trickling and never going to be able to get any progress onto point. So Doofus is pulling away from the Junkrat that he just killed. You could definitely go and res this. Especially since you got a barrier bubble there. I don't mind that you got some healing onto the Zarya. It's actually probably the better idea, just to make sure she doesn't die while you res. But as soon as she's like in the clear, you could have turned around and gone for the res. Really don't know what your Lucio was trying to do. If your Hammond isn't playing with you at all during the game, don't worry about going to heal them. And in their mind, they're thinking that, you know, their supports aren't going to heal them, or they're just going to use health packs to heal themselves. So when they're not coming to you for health, don't tunnel vision and go away from your team, because if you could be on your Zarya this entire time, she could have potentially lived, or lived a little longer during this weird fight that honestly you shouldn't even be taking, but alas, here we are. Oh, so your Zarya does get out. Surprising. But you ended up dying.
I must go where I'm needed.
Again, use your group up key a little bit more. Don't go after Hammond. Okay. I don't like that engagement. The entire enemy team is on point, and most of your team is on the left side here. The Symmetra just chased up the stairs to your team, so you could pull out your gun, honestly, and clear out the turrets that she just placed down here. Maybe shoot her a bit before starting to heal your team. You're almost coming up on your ult, so anything that you can do in terms of like gun damage right now or healing eventually when you get to your team will get this ult charge all the way up, and you can use it immediately to help out your team. Yeah, so you should have gone up the stairs there to the left. Luckily, the Lucio helped you out, but you're already staying here way too long. You want to get up to the top of those stairs there. Good use of Guardian Angel. Try to get on a critical target. Yep. So Guardian Angel will output more healing on the target that you have your beam on, and everyone else that it chains to will get your normal healing amount. Good res. Focus down that supercharger, but don't expose yourself. Good job. Yeah, those barriers here on the side are a really good place to just hide behind. Look for critical targets, look for supports or DPS that might be out of position. A little too deep on the enemy side. Oh, and you just dove right into that. That's unfortunate. Okay, actually. So, oops, did not mean to minimize that. So instead of going around to this right side and kind of diving into the enemy team, you have two teammates up here on the stairs. This is actually a really good position for your DPS players, and I think this is a soldier that you have now. So that's a lot of like defensive position. That's a lot of defensive position. That's a really good defensive position to be in as a Mercy player and as a DPS player, because you can stand up here and get healing to any teammates that are on the point on this left side. And I mean, we already talked about your Hammond not really being a team player right now, so it's fine that he's gonna, swing around and probably go off and get his own healing, or maybe he'll be good and come back to you. But you definitely wanted to go up here, not to the right side. Okay, so even though the enemy team or most of your team moved down off the high ground, your Lucio just died. I think most of the team is caught in this grab here. So you could just stay back a little bit. Your beam is going to reach them no problem. So there's no need for you to go diving in here. Yep. And they are able to clean up there. All right. So some things to work on. The positioning, your target prioritization was pretty good, but just remember like the order that you should do it in. Anyone who's critical, if they're critical, it's going to go support, DPS, then tanks. But yeah, I want to go over some Guardian Angel skills. All right, so for Mercy, for Guardian Angel, I didn't really see this much from your gameplay. One of the things that you can do is when you use your left shift to Guardian Angel, as you get close to your subject, and I just failed there, press the spacebar and you'll do a little bit boost over there, and hold down the spacebar so you'll get like the extra distance. That can really help with your repositioning to get like around corners. Follow me, Odin. Go this way. Say hi, Odin.
Hello.
Hello. We talked a lot about this spot here, so yeah, just stay right there. So your beam, 1 second out of line of sight, and you can still hold on to it. So this is really good for holding, you know, lines of sight, staying behind cover, not getting, exposing yourself to enemies. Okay, let's go back out front. So another Mercy tech that you can do to get out of position if no one on your team, goes up in the air or can get any elevation, is called the Mercy Super Jump. And to do this, you use your Guardian Angel and you press your crouch button, which is by default left control. So I recommend keeping it on left control. Press those at the same exact time. And as you approach your target, press the space bar. So it should look like something like this. So when you see that little elevation, press space. Space. And that's how you can get some like easy elevation. Now this doesn't really work if the target is slightly above ground. Odin, can you go to the top of the stairs? I don't think this should work. It does a little bit, not to the same amount. But if you are higher than your teammate,
I'm here.
it must be like needs significant height difference. Let's try back. Oh, we're here, over here. So just stay up on this platform. So if they're there and you're down here, what the fuck? It never works in my games. You go down. You go down. One of these doesn't work. I promise. I think I just failed my jump there. Yeah, that one does not work. It also doesn't work if you're like any degree off the ground, really. Just keep an eye on that. Also, don't be afraid to use these ledges. If you are keeping your current binding with the Guardian Angel where it's targeting, you go towards whichever person your beam is on. If you look away, you'll always go to them. Now, if Odin goes out of my line of sight and I fall behind it, I have 1 second to press Guardian Angel. Oh, I kind of messed up there too. But you see you have a little bit of like leeway to get back. So if the enemy team is trying to dive you, just back off. And then you can just get back on. So those are some things to keep in mind as you're playing Mercy. I hope this was very helpful. And like always, leave a like and subscribe. I'm putting out videos every week. That is an adorable dog. I shot him. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll be doing videos like this every week. Sometimes I'll be doing it twice a week, once on Wednesday, once on Sunday. But otherwise, you can follow us and get some more news updates on our Discord channel. Description's in the link is in the description. And we'll catch you next time. Say bye.
Au revoir.
Hello there.